All right, so now it's time to learn what opt-in pages are and how to write them. Right now, you've learned how to model copy, which is extremely important. It's to be helpful as you dive in and learn how to write opt-in pages. But there are some key elements that I can help you learn right off the bat. Um, Let me help you first understand what an opt-in page is. Like all steps along a business's funnel or value ladder, the opt-in page is a trade, right? The opt-in page, they're used to collect a potential customer's contact information and sort of the permission to communicate with them. And in return, you provide them with some form of value, right? A gift, information, a discount, or special access, etc. Opting in for one of these free gifts is one of the first steps along many businesses' value ladder. Remember the concept of how you continue to trade time, energy, and money in greater and greater amounts for greater and greater amounts of value and taking someone to their dream state. That this is usually that first step. They're going from the outside world to becoming part of the brand's world, to an inside member of that world, right? This is their first step into it, right? Which is cool because like once you've collected their contact information, their email address or phone number or something like that, you don't have to rely on some platform like Facebook or YouTube to reach that person either through organic stuff or paid stuff. You can now just reach directly to them. You have their contact information. You can directly reach out to them via email or phone or whatever information they provided. You're not dependent on some third-party platform so much. So let me show you a few examples of opt-in pages and get a feel for them, right? This is my opt-in page for HE2 students. It shows it's really simple. You got a headline, you got some curiosity bullets, you got a CTA, you got a little thing here with my face and little authority boost there, right? Here's the link to it if you want to sign up. It's a good chance for you guys to get to know kind of what it's feel. I send out example email copy for you guys to get a feel for what it's like. So if you want to sign up, do it. If not, no big deal. There's this other one right here. This is a classic. This is simple, straightforward, in your face, big, bold colors. Really simple. Just a title, a few fascination points, some security stuff here to make you feel safe. But it's really simple. Not a lot going on here. Not a lot to get your way. Here's another one. This is like just a free training one. It's got like a little video that kind of gives you a preview, some bullets here and a button. And again, there's about 1 million different variations. There's a ton of different kinds of opt-in pages, landing pages out there. And again, you know how to model that. But the good news is like you already know how to write the main elements, right? Because really the best landing pages like landing pages, opt-in pages are the same thing. They're really usually just DIC copy with a dash of authority and other trust promoting content. Like that's really all they are, right? Got a headline to catch the attention, right? You'll notice that headlines are essentially just fascinations, right? You already know how to do that. There's a reason. I had you guys learn that from the beginning. I wasn't kidding when I called them the Lego blocks of copywriting. If you're good at fascinations, you'll find that they come up over and over and over again. And it's important to have a bunch of really good ones, right? Something to keep in mind, you're going to want consistency between whatever fascination you use for your headline and whatever content you use to get the reader to that opt-in page, right? Because you're usually going to be driving traffic from social media or email or something to get people to go from this outside world to this landing page where they can opt in. Whatever your main hook is, whatever your big promise is over here in this copy that's driving them to the landing page, it needs to be reflected in the headline. It has to make sense. Like you can't take them from one thing where you're talking about X and then they show up on the page and it's about Y. It needs to be, if you talk about X, the page needs to be about X. It needs to be a smooth transition between the two. So little thing to keep in mind. And again, usually that headline is going to be about a big promise, right? You're going to be promising the reader they're going to get something, or it's going to be connected to either their biggest pain or their biggest desire, right? And that's obviously something you're going to have uncovered with your research. You're going to have the exact customer language, and you will already have written probably a whole bunch of fascinations to make that really easy. So whatever fascination you pick for your headline, it needs to be potent, right? It can't just be a mediocre fascination. You want it to rock the reader if possible. Like you want it to break their brain, right? It needs to be so potent that like their brain has to try and figure it out because it's so intriguing and powerful for them. You want it to be so good, that this headline to be so good that they will tell their friends about this headline and this piece of copy for the rest of the day, right? And that might sound like a big ask, but you can literally do this, right? So here's some examples of some of these headlines that actually achieve that, right? There's the classic one-legged golf, for example. Amazing secret discovered by one-legged golfer adds 50 yards to your drives, eliminates hooks and slices, and can slash up to 10 strokes from your game overnight. Breaks your brain. You're trying to figure out how it works, what it is. It's connected to things you want. It's unique. You're going to tell people about it. This is a good headline. This is a really relevant. This one maybe not be as exotic as the last example, but this is just a good one. The bare bones 2-page funnel generated over 185,372 leads for us, and how you can swipe it to attract your unlimited leads for your business. It's just straightforward, specific. It's curiosity built. There's just enough information given here that they want to know what it is. It's a solid headline, right? This is a classic one from this like financial copy. America's #1 stock analyst says, "I'm done with stocks, and so are you." Just like right in your face, just big, bold, completely contrarian to the main to the main like status quo, right? In your face, big headline, right? Breaks the brain. This is an old one, but a classic for golfers who are, this is not necessarily a landing page, but like a landing page style old school copy. But it's for golfers who are almost but not quite satisfied with their game and can't figure out what they're doing wrong. Beautiful. Calls out the avatar, calls out their need, talks about like that little insecurity they have about their golf game. Beautiful headline. Or this one, right? This is another landing page for a free training or for this book. After spending $1 million in ads, we are revealing our proven winners so that you can straight up copy, deploy, and make money now. Just big in your face, $1 million in ads, copy, deploy, make money. Like it's just a straightforward, solid headline for a landing page. So again, you're going to catch their attention with that. You're going to talk about their pains, their desires. You make a big, bold promise. There might be a little bit of copy here and there thrown in. You want to then move on to building intrigue, right? Like the point of this landing page is to get them so curious and fascinated by what they're going to discover on the other end of submitting their stuff that they submit their information, right? You have to build that intrigue so they really want to do that. A powerful way to accomplish this is to stack your fascinations, right? Fun fact, another name for fascinations is actually like curiosity bullets. People like use this term interchangeably. And that's because a lot of times you use fascinations as like a bullet list, right? So you stack curiosity on landing pages. Here's a few examples. This is Rachel Peterson landing page, and she's got 3 fascinations stacked here. A to Z of how to get started with TikTok. My weird hashtag strategy that helped me grow by 52,000 followers in 1 month. Your first 1,000 followers on TikTok, a how-to training. Like they've just stacked the curiosity bullets there. Here's a classic one. This is a Dan Kennedy landing page. You can see, I mean, the headline's a curiosity bullet, but you can just see he stacked bullet after bullet after bullet after bullet after bullet after bullet. It's like a whole page of bullets, right? And the point of that, if you go through and read all of these, assuming you're the target market, is it stacks curiosity. Curiosity gets more and more and more. Again, this old ad, which is one of my favorites, does the same thing. Curiosity bullet after curiosity bullet after curiosity bullet after curiosity bullet. The table of contents are a curiosity bullet. But the cool thing is, like, if you go and read those curiosity bullets, they're so good that the reader would happily submit their information just to get the answer to one of those things. Not to mention stacking it on dozens and dozens and dozens of time, right? So it's not just they want one thing really, really bad, they'd happily submit their information for. It's they want 12 things now, right? Like the curiosity is stacked to a point where it's like a raging inferno and they have to put it out. That's what you want to do inside of a good landing page. So once you connect with their desire, you made a big promise, you stack the curiosity. This is when you want to start layering in some authority and some trust, right? Because you want to remove the fear, any fear they might have about the quality of the info they're going to be getting, because you're promising something, they don't know you, you're a stranger. You need to kind of introduce yourself. They need to resonate with you. They need to feel like the sources of this information is going to be good, right? So usually you're going to want to demonstrate some authority and do a few other things to build some trust. And again, this is way important when you're doing a landing page and an opt-in page that is targeted towards people who aren't familiar with your product, which is going to be most of the time, right? You need to build that authority. There's a bunch of ways to do it. Some of the best ways are to show your track record. So like show your past successes that you've had as a guru, right? And I say you, I realize many of you aren't going to actually be running your own business online immediately. You're going to be helping other businesses to do it. So when I say you, I mean like your clients. You're going to show your client's track record. You're going to show the other people that your client has helped, and you're going to show their authority by association. So if they're associated with anyone that can provide any level of authority to them, right? So let me give you some examples. The Dan Kennedy one, there's a couple of examples, right? In this part, he talks about how he's not some youngster promising to be your savior after watching some videos. He's got a 40-year history as a guru to gurus that talks about, how good he's done. You get this whole section here about who's Dan Kennedy, talks about all the things that he's done. He's the founder of this magazine. He's taught this for 6 million people around the world, 9 consecutive years. He spoke at the Success thing alongside Ronald Reagan, Colin Powell, Johnny Cash. So it's just powered by association, powered by numbers of people that he's helped, proven track record, how many books he's written. He's just stacking and saying, hey, I'm a guy you can trust, right? Even in this example, right, that we shared earlier, America's #1 stock analyst. And this is just the first place he starts talking about authority. There's a whole section of the sales letter where he just stacks this guy's authority and why you should listen to him, right? In this example, there's a couple places, right? They've spent $1 million in ads. $1 million in ads, that lends a level of credibility all to itself. Plus, there's a section down here where they show where it's been featured on these different news outlets. There's a lot of different ways to weave authority throughout a landing page, right? And what that's going to do is increase the sense of certainty that they're going to get what they want, right? So you're making them a big promise. And by layering in some authority and some trust factors, what it's going to do is it's going to give them confidence that they can actually get what they want. So that's kind of the main elements in a landing page. When you sit down to write one, you're usually going to plan out at least those 3 elements. You might put a few new things in, a few additional things in, depending on it's a landing page you decide to model, right? Because that's the first step you're going to do. You're going to sit down and find other pages that you want to model. But those are going to be the main things. So you're going to sit down and plan your headlines. You're going to plan your fascinations. You're going to plan your call to actions. You're going to plan how to put some authority in there. But if you're working with a client or you're running your own business and you have to figure out, what you're actually going to offer as bait, that free thing that they're opting in for, then there's a certain process. You want to think about things that are going to be helpful to somebody who's taking their first steps towards their dream state. So you're going to think about the avatar, you're going to think about their dream state, and you're going to think about some of the first roadblocks they're going to run into. You want to create your free value, that free gift that you're offering them, to be something that's going to help them with those first few steps along the way, right? Like, for example, in my landing page is 10 tips to reach 10K a month as a copywriter as quickly as humanly possible. And those tips are valuable information that someone needs to know when they're first starting as a copywriter so they can progress as quickly as possible. It's useful to the avatar where they are, right? And again, that's useful because you want to think about those roadblocks you're going for, and usually just giving them information and helping them understand their situation, what they really want. If you can wrap that into a valuable package, an ebook, a guide, a video, or something, that's usually enough to make it worth it for them to opt in and give you their email address and sort of join your world, step into your brand, right? Now, you measure the success of a sales page based on the conversion rate. So you're gonna have 100 visitors. How many of those visitors actually opt in, right? If it's 25, then you have a 25% conversion rate, right? You want to have as high of a conversion rate as possible for free gifts and free offers. You should shoot for at least a 25% conversion rate. That should be your bare minimum of what you accept, but you can obviously go higher than that. And obviously, the higher the converting page converts, the more valuable it is to drive traffic to that page. If you drive more traffic to that page, you get more people convert, you get more leads, you can sell more people, right? You want to dial in all those elements: the headline, the images that you use, the entry, the CTA buttons, all that stuff to ensure the highest possible conversion rates. Writing landing pages is extremely valuable. Again, like I said, it's the beginning. It's where you've taken short form copy, you've got the reader to that page. This is where they make the decision whether or not they're going to sort of join your brand or step in and give permission to be marketed to or not, right? So if you can do this more effectively than your competitors, if you can do this more effectively than the people in the market, then you win, right? If you can help your clients do that, then they win and you make a lot of money. So learning how to write landing pages and really dialing in those 3 elements: the headline, the entry that you use, and the authority that you drop, that would do the most for driving the conversions on your landing page and making it successful. So keep those in mind.